Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Russia Besieged Finnish expansion. This is an expansion designed by Art Lupinacci and it is published by Compass Games. Well, we've already seen the Russia expansion base game, the player's guide, and now we have the Finnish expansion, which will, pardon the pun, finish out everything for Russia Besieged, at least for now. You give Art an idea though, and this thing could expand further because Art really loves this game and he's determined to bring everything he can into this series. So let's take a look at the back of the box and see what this expansion is all about. The Finnish expansion kit allows owners of Russia Besieged to explore the possibilities of fighting in northern Finland, expanding the main game map to Murmansk and the Barents Sea. Special rules are included to allow for the Army of Norway to join the battle against the Red Army in an attempt to block the all-important port of Murmansk from receiving aid from the Western powers. The expansion map covers territory from Archangel, Leningrad, and all of Finland, bordered by Norway and Sweden. This completes the area of operations of the German and Axis forces in the east, covering the entire campaign to conquer the Soviet Union. Included in the expansion kit is an historical commentary on events leading up to the Continuation War and Finland's historic struggle against the Soviet Union. The kit also includes a 64-page player's guide that analyzes a sample first turn, covering strategy, methods of attack, as well as covering best methods of technique for deep penetrations through the Russian front line. There are also 264 new counters included in the game, a new Kursk historical scenario complete with setup cards, play aid cards, new order of battle cards, new advance rules, and more, designed to bring you the ultimate experience in the Army Corps level simulation of the ferocious fighting on the entire Eastern Front. And for the contents, we get a 22 by 18 inch expansion map, an expansion rulebook, 264 counters, historical setup order of battle cards, and a 64-page first turn analysis player guide. And at the bottom it says ownership of Russia Besieged Deluxe Edition is required. The player's guide is recommended. It's out there, you might as well grab all three. We see an example of the counters and the map up here. Get the counters, the rulebook, analysis book, historical Kursk scenario and play aids, and the expansion map broken down for you here, as well as the historical study variant for Citadel. So let's take a look inside and see what we get. All right, we have a clarification sheet. Just changes the component listing from 2 to 1 for the CRT. And then it says, back of the box is correct in saying that you need to own the base game, and then the player's guide is recommended. So just a little clarification there. We get our baggies, the expansion map, which really tight fit in here, expansion rules, historical study variant for Operation Citadel, first turn analysis book, counter sheets, and then player aids for order of battle cards, and looks like a CRT, a whole bunch of these player aid cards. This last one's tough to get out of the box. So let's set up the map and take a closer look at the expansion. And here's a look at the map that comes with the Finnish expansion. Start off over here on the left, Norway through Sweden into Finland, and then also a portion of Russia. So you can see same beautiful graphics we saw with the Russia Besieged map. It's just going to flow seamlessly into the map. At the bottom we have the expansion map weather for the turn, and then we have the Finnish rail available via Sweden boxes here on the bottom left side. Again, like I said, very easy to read. If you know the Russia Besieged map, you're going to feel right at home here because it's the same art, same text, everything. Just looks like it's going to be a beautiful addition to an already beautiful Russia Besieged map. Next, we'll take a look at the player aids that come with the game. We start off with the first one here, German Order of Battle for the Finland expansion. The at-start forces on turn 1 for the German, and then at the bottom we have the Russian Order of Battle card. On the next sheet, we have the CRT, Blitzkrieg attack table, combat die roll modifiers, the air support chart, and the Russian victory chart. On the back, we have the weather table and the movement allowance chart. On the next sheet, we have the strategic movement chart, And on the back, we have directions on how to read the chart. On the next sheet, we have the updated new Axis replacement schedule. On the next sheet, we have the weather table and movement allowance chart, which is specifically for the Finland expansion map. On the next sheet, we have the airlift success table, strategic bombing table, terrain effects, security forces availability chart, Konrad Commissar availability table, Hans Ulrich Rudel attack table, the sea movement table, and the sea movement die roll modifiers on the bottom left. Then on the back, we have the optional German rail capacity chart, tournament play and play balance weather DRMs, and the historical weather chart. Then we get into the order of battle cards. The first two are big foldouts for the German order of battle. And then we have the Russian order of battle card. Then we have the German order of battle card for the Citadel scenario. On the front, we have the at-start forces for Army Group Center and Army Group South. On the back, we have information for reinforcements, eliminated units, reformable units not in play, and the German armor unit breakdown management box. Then we have the Russian order of battle at-start forces for the Voronezh Front, Southwestern Front, Southern Front, Steppe Military District, Northern Caucasus Front, and the Transcaucasus Military District. On the back, we have the eliminated units, out of play, and reformable units boxes. On the next sheet, we have the reinforcements for the Citadel scenario. And on the back of that sheet, we have the at-start forces for the remainder of the Russian order of battle for Operation Citadel. And on the last sheet, we have the Tank Army Management Breakdown box for Operation Citadel. Next, we'll take a look at the counter sheets that come with the game. There is a sheet and a half of counters. On this first half sheet right here, we've got the first turn analysis variant counters. Then on the full counter sheet, we have the counters for the Finnish expansion as well as the Kursk historical scenario. And as you can see, some of these counters are already falling out of the tree, so be very careful when you take them out of the shrink wrap. These punch very easy. And we'll take a look at the rules. This is a 48-page full-color rulebook, and there's not 48 pages of rules in this rulebook. There's a lot of supporting background text, examples, an introductory scenario, things like that. So don't go, wow, there's an extra 50 pages of rules. There's not. Art is very detailed in giving you all the background you can for this game, as we see here. A history of Soviet aggression against Finland. That starts us off. Gives you a good detailed historical background on the conflict itself with Finland. The continuation war on page 8. And that continues on for several pages. Then we get to the rules of play on page 18 for the Finnish expansion. Start off with the expansion map exclusive rules, invasions on the expansion map, lakes and rivers on the expansion map, combat general supply, terrain restrictions, Russian bombers, partisans, field marshals, Army of Norway, and then pretty cool breakdown of the different types of weather here. Snow, frost, light frost, and clear using historical images. Arctic weather, German Corps restrictions. There's also blizzard here at the bottom. Finnish expansion map bombers, Finnish rail capacity. And then over here we've got an example that says at start of turn 12, the weather die roll is 2. On the expansion map, light frost clear. On the main map, light mud clear. So it's going to give you a breakdown of how the weather will be in two different locations, because you're talking about Finland, you're talking about the mainland, and then what's going to happen being there's two different types of weather in play. Another example here, sea movement, and then we get to our summary. Then we have the continuation war, which is a historical scenario that is meant to get you into the Finnish map. So that way, if you've not played this before, you can play this and get a feel for the game itself. Then we have clarifications and examples, advanced rules, which go on through to page 40, shock of war adjustment, oil wells, which is historical. Another couple pages of interesting gallery pictures. Then we have the light snow movement allowance chart, German dictator directives, Russian dictator directives, then a supplementary to the player's guide and more, errata for the player's guide, and then enhancement for the first turn guide, last stand, fortification variant, surrounded breakthrough, combat rail capacity, armor breakdown, Admirals, Richthofen. Advanced staging, general supply enhanced, sea movement table, rail capacity modification, enhanced replacements. Guards cavalry update, shock of war, tournament rule 1, donating replacement points. And then we have the designer setup. So if you're unfamiliar with the game, you can just follow along with the designer setup, and it makes it easier for you to get in there and get going. Designer's final thoughts, the designer's game, and then we have example play here on page 47, and that continues over to the back of the rulebook. Next, we have the first turn analysis. This is a 64-page full color book. On the inside of the front cover, we have the advanced rule index, and we get to the table of contents listing out all the different sections and their associated page numbers. Same for the advanced rules index. That continues on to the bottom of the next page. Then we have a message from the designer. We have Finland, Leningrad, MD. Example is seen on page 5. And Art always says if you're going to follow along with these, best thing to do is set it up and follow along. So that way you can get a feel by moving the counters around and follow along with the examples as to what's going on here. And he gives really great breakdowns of every aspect of these turns. Army Group South, Kiev, MD. Then we have Army Group Romania, Odessa Military District. Same for Finland and Leningrad. Army Group North, Baltic. Army Group Center, Western. Army Group South, Kiev. Army Group Romania, Odessa. And then Finland and Leningrad. Russia player first turn. Really good detailed analysis of it. And then the final analysis of the entire first turn. Again, another detailed analysis. Some key map position options. Lots of illustrations along with the text. Just fantastic reading. If you really enjoy this game, you're really going to dig deep into this. Step losses revisited. Understanding supply. Then the 1941 timeline. Advanced rules that Art likes to play with. A listing of all those. Advanced rule chart, rule randomizer table. So you don't know what to pick, you can just use the rule randomizer table and have something new each time. Official new advanced rules. How to use the city control victory point counters. German transport truck industry. Fluid zone of control. Dictator directive. Enhanced blitzkrieg attack. Russian rivers and bridges. Bomber advanced turn sequence. Axis abandoned North Africa early. Additional field marshals. And more shock of war. Airlift supply aircraft. Then we have fortification cities and siege guns. Mojeska fence line. Silo Heights. Turkish entry as German ally. Russian Far Eastern forces. The Urals Bomber America. Guards Cavalry Corps. Combined Arms DRM bonus. City control. Reference rule. German security forces. Partisans revisited. And we've got good detailed examples here, and that carries over to the back of the book where we have some official errata. And lastly, we have the historical study variant for Operation Citadel. This is a 24-page full color book. Inside of the front cover, get the historical variants and rules, table of contents on the next page, listing out all the rules and their associated page numbers. And we have the historical Citadel scenario all broken down for you. And then all of the associated rules, reforming surrendered units, donating replacements, breakthrough artillery corps, shock armies, Russian tank armies, Russian coastal operations group, building a tank army, upgrading a tank army, and then, as we saw with the player aid cards, the tank army management breakdown box, red steel, red guards, armies of steel, again with the breakdown box there, Western Front Panzer Reserve, variable D-Day invasion date, Panzer Corps reinforcement, Luftwaffe ground units, all infantry Panzer Corps headquarters, May-June 1943 Axis replacements, Army Group A, technological surprises, historical Lend-Lease, fortification adjustments, minor ally restrictions, Romania, Hungary, partisan warfare, placing and removing first stage partisans, German anti-partisan units. Then we have the sea invasions, modified Panzer withdrawal, Panzer Corps withdrawal, and then the order of battle card changes for the main game. Then we have examples of play that will finish out the rest of the Citadel book. On the back, we have the official game changes summary for the new main rulebook. And that is a look at everything you get inside of the Russia Besieged Finnish expansion. This is an expansion designed by Art Lupinacci and is published by Compass Games. Well, if you're a Russia Besieged fan, I know you already have the base game, you already have the player's guide. Now we finally have the Finnish expansion, which should finish it all out, unless Art comes up with some other idea, and believe me, if he gets another idea, he's going to run with it. But fantastic support from Art on this game, and just a ton of documentation. You got your first turn analysis, you got your historical study variant for Operation Citadel, Finnish expansion. You've got the player's guide, which gives you more. The base game, which gives you a lot. So overall, you've got a ton of different things you can explore for the Eastern Front through Russia Besieged, which is a fantastic package overall. If you're an Eastern Front fan, that is a must-have game in my opinion, as are the two expansions, because then you get everything. And like I said, you get all these analysis that are put in there for you to just dig through and read, as well as follow along with and learn from, whether you're just a solitaire player, you play face-to-face, and especially if you're one of the tournament type players, you want to get into all those moves. Now, me personally, I'm not a tournament guy. I don't like learning moves for tournaments, things like that, because then a game just becomes a chess match to me, and I preferred it to be more fluid. That's why I prefer playing solitaire, just face-to-face, and just having fun exploring everything that went on in the Eastern Front through these games. But it's great that those options are there for the players that love that tournament scenario setup. Well, this is available now, so if you haven't got a hold of it, make sure you order a copy now before the end of the month. Don't forget, Compass still has the sale till the end of January. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you'd be curious about this one. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.